The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. Welcome to the show. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Here with Noah and Brian.
Hello.
In St. Louis. We're all remote.
Happy New Year.
Good. Happy New
You know how we didn't get to say that because so many things happened at the beginning of the year that were horrible and good?
Yeah.
I don't think I said Happy New Year to a single person. I don't think I said it to you. I was with you on New Year's Eve.
That's crazy. I don't think we did.
No.
What did you guys do?
Wait,
for
how
New
did you
Year's
guys
Eve?
ring in the New Year? Like, we were out doing sets that night, but then we were done by like, I think 10:45, and then we went home. The last set was at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And then Chris and I just went home and watched Anderson Cooper and
Yes.
Andy Cohen getting drunk in Times Square.
That's the best way to do it. I think that's the best of all those shows.
And we looked out the window and saw some fireworks, and I was just like, I fucking hate fireworks. I think they should be banned. They're so disruptive to the world. Everyone's stressed out by them. They remind you of, they either sound like gunshots or bombs.
Yeah.
Also fire. I mean, this was before we were terrified of fire, I guess, but should have still been terrified of fire. And also, they are just bad for animals. Animals don't know that it's the
New Year
celebration of the New Year or 4th of July. They're not animals are not festive. It's one of the worst things about animals. But the other worst thing is that they're too stupid to know what's happening, and they just are horrified. Whatever your dog does is what a squirrel is doing.
Yeah.
And they abandon their babies, and their babies starve to death. Like it's terrible, you guys. Just stop with the fireworks. Just can't you just hoot and holler? Why do we need fireworks? I'm so annoyed by them.
The replacement for fireworks is drones. Yeah. And
Drones,
no, the fireworks are horrible. Like the birds obviously don't know that it's July 4th. Most of them are from Mexico that are around here anyway, so they're not even patriotic. And it scares them all away. And it's horrible
We have immigrant birds.
All of our birds are pretty much
Build that wall higher.
And they're definitely just flying over the border.
It's just I hate fireworks, and it sucks because Chris loves them so much, and he's so patriotic, and it's like it's not even a part of like his patriotism, but it is. He loves them, and I think it's one thing that will destroy us ultimately. It's like it's worse than like if he wanted babies or something, and I don't. Like this will divide us forever because it's his favorite holiday, I think, and all I can think about is just animals being scared and owls being like whoo and like turning their heads all the way around, being like, where's that coming from? And then abandoning their babies, and then their babies starve. It's the worst.
Chris has always said to me, ever since I've known him, that he just wants to settle down with a nice woman and light some fireworks together. Raise some fireworks, I guess.
I've always hated them, even as a kid. I was totally scared of them. I always felt it was I was embarrassed at how scared I was of them. I just don't like loud sounds out of nowhere. I hate balloons. I don't like when kids are playing with balloons because I feel like they're going to pop at any second. I don't like a balloon just like kind of traipsing across the ground. Like I just feel like it's going to hit something. It's going to pop and then I'm going to be scared. I just don't like being
because
scared.
It's a jump scare. It's a jump scare. You don't know when it's going to happen.
I don't like jump scares. I hate balloons. I love helium. I think that's a really fun part of balloons. I just don't like I don't like loud noises. I had Pilates today, and I really like this girl who's the instructor, but it was very loud, and I was plugging my ears as I was like doing a lunge on this like equipment.
Oh.
And I was hoping that might like catch on, like it's too loud, but then I was like, no, I don't need to be passive aggressive, and I just got off the thing and I ran and got some tissue paper and I just stuck that in my ear. So a different kind of passive aggressiveness that is like solving my problem and not making it her problem.
She still might have seen that and taken it as a passive aggressive.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, but at least I was doing a thing for myself that was like sustainable and not plugging my ears. And then after the class, she like was passing out the things to wipe down your thing, and she very discreetly was like, "You were amazing on the Golden Globes. You blew my mind. Like, she was so nice." And I was like, "You can scream all you want for the rest of your life, girl. You can get away with anything now." Because
she was passing things to wipe down the machines, and you're like, "I don't need any. I have it in my ears." And then you went.
It was. I can just use this. Sometimes they give me double because I sweat so much. But I'm back at it. That feels really good.
Can I go back to the fireworks just for a second? Because there's this.
Go back forever.
Fireworks are also dangerous for the people lighting the fireworks. There's this famous incident from a football player, a New York Giant, Jason Pierre-Paul, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. He keeps playing. JPP, they call him. And he's an incredible defensive lineman with a ton of sacks. But one year when he was on the Giants over the summer, he blew off 2 of his fingers.
He still plays?
He still plays, yeah. He played for like 10 years after that. I think he still plays.
Wow.
But yeah, and then everyone made fun of him for having blown off his fingers.
I always love that meme that's like July 3rd. It's like, this is the last day for so many Americans to have all their 10 fingers. There's like a meme that goes around and it's like, oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're extremely dangerous. I don't like when they shoot every different way. I like sparklers. They're tame. They're quiet. They're gentle.
When I was in high school,
they smell good.
There was a couple of times, or maybe it was middle school, where one of my friends got a load of fireworks and then we would go into his backyard and we'd launch them at each other.
Of course, you guys are boys.
Like, yeah, which was like, I can't believe, I don't
know how boys survive Boyhood.
No, most of them don't.
Like, I'm not even joking. Like, how do you all not run into traffic? How do you all not get severe concussions every day? How are you not just constantly... it's amazing that you survive.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been thrown through doors, thrown through a glass showcase. I've been body slammed through a table. I took somebody. I did a Mortal Kombat move to one of my friends in elementary school, and I broke his teeth off.
Oh my god!
I punched 2 people in the face by accident. I clotheslined some kid and he went flying in the air like a Muppet.
How did you punch 2 kids by accident?
One of them was we were in elementary school, I think. It might have been even 6th grade. And we were playing the punching game where we'd punch each other. And like, at first it was just like, oh, I punched you in the leg. Now you punched me in the arm. And that was the game. Mm-hmm. And then it was after music class. We put our recorders away and I was sitting there and I was like, I've got a good move to do. And I was like, I'm going to go to punch him in the face. And then at the last second, go down and hit him in the stomach, cause like a fake out. And then I just punched him in the face. I like forgot to go down.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
crying.
I guess that's accidental, but not really.
I don't know what, I have no control, but yeah, lots of that.
It's so much of that. But what did you do anything New Year's Eve? Wait, you weren't with that. Allie wasn't in town, so you didn't.
Yeah, I just went home. I don't even know if I noted that it was midnight. I might have even when the clock struck midnight, I might have said to myself, "Hey," and that's it. Look at that.
Yeah.
And that was my New Year's this year, which I'm fine with, by the way.
But I don't even know. I just what did you Noah? Were you awake?
Yes, I was awake. I actually watched a magic show on New Year's Eve.
Like on TV or like in person?
No, live in person.
Whoa.
So we had a party. I was in Utah and my sister hired a magician who came in.
What?
Wow.
For like how many people?
I would say maybe like 15 people.
That's cool.
Sharpo?
Half of sorry, what?
That's Sharpo. He's just a magician. I'm just randomly saying a magician.
Actually, I don't remember the guy's name.
Sorry.
Oh, that sucks. That's like how comedy, whenever people go, I went to a comedy show and I go, who, and they were great. And I go, who was it? And they go, I don't know. And I'm like, oh no. No one remembers.
Terrible.
No, but okay.
I was sold on it. I'm like into magic now, I believe. Because
there's no thing to believe in. All you believe in is a talent.
Right. Well, I believe in the talent being some kind of like weird force of nature.
No, that the force of nature is physics, and it all the rules apply. They're not doing anything else, but it is cool.
Magic's cool.
And the room was set up in the way where he was standing like in front of a glass door, so I could kind of see what he was like from behind him, what he was doing, like through the reflection. Exactly. So I was like, oh, I'm totally going to see him putting stuff up his sleeves and all that.
Anything.
I can't see. I couldn't see anything.
No,
good.
I can't do. I don't like it because I want to just know. That's why I used to love that Penn and Teller show. Mm-hmm. That they would try to guess what the trick was, and it was called like Stump Us or something. And they would have magicians come in and perform for them. And they would like tell the magician, is this how you do it? I don't even think they like said it too, like out loud, but they were like, we're gonna whisper in your ear, like, is this how you do it? And if it is, you have to like admit it. And then if you stump us, like, you win a bunch of money.
Yeah,
because they've seen every magic trick in the book.
They don't reveal how it was done to the general public, though.
I don't think so. I think that's like against the rule book.
There was a show back in maybe
based on Arrested Development. That's how I know magicians' rules, and I think that was all made up. Anyway.
Well, there was a show, a special show 20 years ago. You know what I'm going to say? What is it?
Where the guy wore a mask and he revealed everything. Yes.
Yeah, and there was like huge blowback in the magic community about
it was probably inspired Arrested Development, was that guy.
Yeah, probably.
Because Job on the show is a magician, and he's in the Magicians Alliance, and he keeps getting kicked out of it, and like, and he, but they talk a lot about revealing things and how you can't, and that guy.
He was excommunicated from the Magicians Alliance.
But how'd they know who it was? I bet they probably magicians probably know.
They know.
How to figure out.
They knew who this guy was. But the thing the masked magician was saying, listen. All of these tricks have been around for 20 to 30 years. I'm only showing you how these tricks are done because I think it's time for magic as an art form to move forward and move beyond these old sawing a woman in half tricks.
Right.
It's time for new stuff. We need an evolution. Otherwise, magic will die out. That was his... In reality, he's just getting paid buttloads of money by Fox.
Oh, man. David Blaine changed my life when I discovered him my freshman year of high school. That's that show that aired on it was like ABC, I think. And he was levitating.
Oh, yeah.
And he was sticking things in his hand, and he was taking a chicken's head off, and then he put the chicken's head back on.
Yeah.
And I convinced my geometry teacher, Mr. Booth, to clear a class so that we could show it. And because my dad taped it.
Whoa.
And I was like, Mr. Booth, I have a show that you're going to be obsessed with. Because it's like magicianry is like math. And he let me take over the class and show this video, and it blew everyone's minds. I mean, David Blaine, when he first showed up on the scene, was insane.
Yeah.
And he still is. I love watching any kind of celebrity he's impressing. But sometimes it just gets too gross. Like, I don't want to see needles going into flesh, and I don't want to see a frog being eaten. I just don't want to see that
Angel type shit.
Yeah.
That teacher's a really good teacher. I mean, he saw that you were passionate about something, and then he let
Mr.
you
Booth.
express that.
Shout out before.
Yeah.
What was that?
You've brought Mr. Booth up before on the show.
I love Mr. Booth. There's some when teachers are good, man, it sticks with you. I saw someone recently who went to Kirkwood High School. Oh, when I was in Hawaii, this guy came up to me and was like, he was eating dinner next to us, and we kept hearing that their table say St. Louis, so we'd be like, what? And then he came up at the end of the meal and was like, I'm sorry, I don't normally do this, but I just discovered you. Like, I knew about you, but I saw the Golden Globes, and I went on a deep dive about you. And I was reading your Wikipedia last night in bed with my boyfriend, and I gasped because I went to Kirkwood High School too.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, what teachers when did you graduate? He graduated in 2000, I think 11 or 15, and I graduated in 2002. So I was like, oh, this is going to be rough. But I knew one teacher, Madam Kalfas.
Madam Kalfas. We've talked about her before.
She's the greatest woman alive. I love her so much. And she recently wrote to me because I had posted about how being vegetarian isn't enough. Like, the egg industry is disgusting, dairy industry is disgusting, and it's a nice step, but it's not. It's. I wish it were enough too, is what I said. And she wrote to my Instagram story and said, "Your sister taught me this. I was a vegetarian for 20 years, and I had no idea what was going on in those other industries. And your sister, who my sister was a Spanish teacher at Kirkwood High School, Madam Kalfas was working with her then, even though I had her. She's been there for 30 years." She said my sister enlightened her, and she's been vegan ever since. And I was so proud of my sister. I'm so proud of my sister. My sister is not a teacher anymore at Kirkwood High School. She abandoned her career because she just wanted to try something new at the age of 39. Damn. And she is now working at a, I'm not going to say the name of it, but for people who want to redecorate their bathrooms, she's helping them design and decorate their bathrooms, which is she's so excited about it because she's it's a thing that people are so excited about doing. When you get because she works at a nice place, right? So these people are getting heated floors and a big tub and a towel rack that heats the towels and really a nice basin and a nice toilet that raises when you walk in. And so she's helping people do something they're so excited about, which is it's a good point. And I'm so excited for her. And she just started this new job, and
it's amazing. 39 to switch careers is really difficult to do, and to be pulling it off and be happy. That's an incredible, inspiring story.
It took a while, though. I will say that she stopped teaching this past year in May was her last month. And then she was looking all summer, looking all fall, like trying hard and like managing being a mom for 3 kids and feeling like this is all I do now is these kids. And she was, did a bunch of things around the house. And she just learned that she was like, I think I like interior design. Like, I think that's interesting to me. And she never really even thought of exploring it before. But then she was just like, what could I do in this space? And she met with Chris's mom, who's an interior decorator. And she got like a lot of help from her. Like she just asked around, like she just did it the right way.
Yeah.
And she's so bold to like take that risk. And, she went to school for teaching. She got so many degrees. She has a master's. She has, like she put a lot into teaching and to just say, you know what? Maybe I didn't pick the right thing for myself now. Maybe that was right for me then. And it wasn't a waste. I taught for 10 years and I'm ready to like, I know that not everyone has the opportunity to do that, but it was inspiring to me.
I highly recommend for anybody. They say it's never too late. It is too late for some things. Like you can't be like a professional basketball player. You can't even do. I would even say like you probably shouldn't even do comedy if you're like 40 and you're like, let me try comedy. Like I think it's probably too late. Everyone always says like
it's gonna take
Rodney
20 years, but maybe you could be 60.
Yeah.
It's going to take 20. It'll take 10 years to find your voice. So by 50, you could. And
so
you know what?
Give me an example of any 40-year-old.
Well, I don't think people do it.
Yeah.
Because there's no examples.
I don't think it's possible, honestly.
I really don't think it's possible if you have kids and you want to be a good parent and you want to be around. I truly don't think it's possible. I don't think I would be able to be this successful with kids. I just don't. And I don't think it's possible if you're not obsessed with it.
Yeah.
You just have to put in so many fucking hours. But if you are someone who has kids that are like grown, I could see committing enough time to it and becoming obsessed with it and getting good enough that then you are an old comedian who's like fresh on the scene. Like that's a thing that people are interested in. If someone's like really good at comedy and old, and like has a fresh
is it going to be fresh though?
Because
every time I see someone who's like starting off comedy and they're like, 55 or 60 or something, their comedy styling is always like Borscht belts. Like it's always back before they had kids, what they remember as comedy.
I'll give you an example of someone. Miss Pat is someone who got like, I don't even know how old she is because she looks ageless, but I'm guessing she looks in her 30s, and I'm serious about that, but I'm guessing she's in her mid to late 50s.
I have her age.
How old?
It's public information. At 52.
Okay. Oh, shit. Sorry, Miss Pat. But you look in your 30s. I was just like adding up because I thought your story was that you were older. But she looks amazing. She is amazing. But she got her start kind of late, I think.
Yeah.
And she got shot. Her tit got shot off. She was like, she has a crazy life. She had so many kids at a really young age. She was on welfare. She was working at McDonald's, and Jimmy Carter came in. She had a great story she told on Kimmel. But she lived like 1,000 lives and then started comedy. And she only started comedy because of her. I think her welfare person, the person who she like checked in with or whatever, said, "You're so funny." Yeah, her caseworker said you should try comedy, and then she did. Yeah, and then she was great at it.
Okay, so
she has a fresh perspective.
She started comedy in 2002, so she was 30 when she started, which I think that's probably I can't imagine being 55 or 50 and starting, and then actually like just being willing to go to open mics and then like kiss ass to a bunch of 20-year-olds to try to get on a comedy show at a bar.
I honestly think you have a better chance of becoming super famous as a woman in or man in your 50s starting comedy and throwing yourself into it as fully as you would have in your 20s than you do in your 20s, because there are so many people in their 20s. It's a way to stand out.
Okay, so you stand out.
You need to stand out.
Okay,
yeah.
Jason Ellis started comedy later.
I think, but no, I disagree because it's been a long time. It's been a long time, Nikki, since you've been to open mics. And I will say, you go to open mics, especially in LA, there are 50-year-olds there. There are people there.
They have like a vibe of like, we know the vibe that they're bringing in. They're not bringing in a vibe of like dedicated, being obsessed with it. They're giving a vibe of like they just need a place to hang out.
Well, no, they're also.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I totally agree with that.
Some,
no, they are
not all by any means, not all.
There's a bunch I've seen that are like they have like a baby reindeer style of comedy that they're trying to push on the open mic people. Yeah.
Okay, we have to go to break. That is such a good point. But I do think it's never too late for comedy, and I think that if you just got to put in the work,
maybe
and give yourself 10 years of
I just
working
don't
your ass
want
off.
you to start because
It's not a threat to you. They're no threat to you because they would be older than you. If they started at, how old are you, Brian?
36.
Okay.
I don't want
maybe a 36-year-old
to start. I don't want anybody to start. Just stop.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
I know that feeling, but it's an illusion. No, it's not. There's not enough room for all of us. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so we wanted to talk about a thing that's been happening since the Globes and then since the fires after the Globes, is that during the Golden Globes, during what we called a halftime show, a halftime report, I did this thing from the floor where I was like amongst the celebrities and I was talking about, the stats of the show. And it started out in the writer's room as like we were going to do like an official kind of, football kind of NFL halftime report.
It also came from day one. We were saying we want to do TNF style jokes.
Thursday Night Football.
Yeah. Thursday Night Football style jokes about what just happened. And that kind of like fell by the wayside. We've gotten so good
at writing jokes hours before, like about the thing that you just watched, right?
Yeah.
So we were like, we can easily do this. Let's like take the first half of the show and let's write a bunch of jokes about things that happen. Like there's nothing more fun that's why people are live tweeting. They want to see jokes about what they're watching. And then award shows get away from that because they stick to the script. And it's like, let's leave this part in the show that is just for we'll have a selective group of people in a room watching the feed and just writing this halftime report that I will then be able to go over with them because I have a lot of time in between when I have to go out that we can go over and make a halftime thing.
Less time than we thought because you did an incredible, which elevated the show, 10 costume change. I don't think we talked about that. How much that elevated the show for you to do 10 wardrobe changes during the course of the show.
People did very much like it.
Yeah, no, it made it like, this is a thing.
What's she going to be in next?
It's something for other people. It's like, maybe not for me because I'm not a fashion person, but there are people watching this who are interested in that.
And people loved it.
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible, I don't know whose idea that was. It was your idea or someone else's, but to do that many wardrobe changes was a great idea.
Well, I think it just goes with if we just found out how many times I was potentially going to be in the show. And we were like, okay, let's just do a different look for each one because why wouldn't we? Like,
but I don't think, did Tina and Amy do that? Did Seth Meyers do that? Definitely not.
Well, I don't think men do. I don't think anyone cares. But I think, it was really fun. And it made it fun for me. And it's nice to give the audience something new to look at. Like they've heard jokes, no matter how good the jokes are. It's like, I do care about what I wear because I do think talking is boring no matter what you're doing. If I were singing and dancing, I could maybe stay in an outfit the whole time. But even that, like you watch Taylor Swift, you watch Beyonce, they're making outfit changes throughout the whole show not because they want to show you different looks. Yes, but because it's part of keeping people's focus and entertaining people. Like you think that sometimes outfit changes or changing up your glam is just some kind of like vapid thing. Like I just want to look hot in different ways. It's like, no, you want to keep people interested. Newness is part of the performance.
Yes.
And I do think it matters what you wear on stage. And I do take care in that because I do think watching, especially in my stand-up, watching someone talk on stage for an hour can get boring.
Yeah.
No matter what, there's valleys, for peaks to happen, there are valleys. And during those valleys, just take a look at my legs. I don't give a shit. Take a look at my shoes. Look at my bunions. Like, I'll give you some things to look at. See if you can see my skirt. I don't know. Just have some fun. Maybe you'll catch a nip slip. Maybe you'll see my underwear line. It's just like, give them something else. Anyway, that was a really fun thing. But during this halftime show,
I actually have it queued up. I can play it on the...
Okay, yeah.
This
is what I said.
This is the moment. This is not the whole halftime show.
This is part of it. Cast and crew are leading the way with 11 mentions. Oh, this is like breaking down the thank yous. Holding strong with 3 shout outs. God, creator of the universe, 0 mentions. And Mario Lopez, host of Access Hollywood, 1. All right. No surprise in this godless town.
So that's the moment in question. And by the way, it absolutely crushed. I mean, the breaking that down was so funny.
So fun.
Yeah.
Like, there are moments in comedy where you, like, have said things like I probably rehearsed that 3 times. I probably said that.
We didn't
4,
even know the
maybe?
numbers. We didn't know that Kieran Culkin was going to mention Mario Lopez until he did.
So we were waiting for like something funny to put in that 4th category. We knew God. We were hoping God maybe had 0 mentions. That's what we like had predicted, and it came true. And we were just
so you guys came up with that night. It wasn't like pre-planned.
No, that was like a couple days before. Was part of this breakdown would be we fill in the stats there of like thank yous, right? And so we predicted there'd be agents and reps, and then we predicted there would be like a wife section, and then moms or whatever, and then we predicted gods with 0. That was just like a placeholder for like this could be funny because we actually pitched it to do with someone at first, where I would be joined by someone else. So we had to write out a script predicting how funny it could be to present to the person to sign on to do it with me. And they ended up signing on, but then we changed kind of the format of it. And we were like, we were going to make it very sports centery with graphics and me holding a mic with a little, the label on it, and potentially some sports people involved. And then we just kind of made it like, we don't need to do all that. Like that'll be already implied in the way I talk.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of, I think, 100 different literal game time decisions that we made correctly. I mean, there were so many things that were like A or B, choice A or choice B, and we just nailed it every single time. And looking back, it's just like the roast. There were some choices that if we went in the opposite direction, that would have tanked the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's one in particular I'm thinking about during the halftime show. That's like if we did that.
Oh no, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
And you know who said who was just not feeling that was Chris Convey. Was like, I just think it's a bad. And then it just takes one person to go, I don't know. And then I see that and I go, wait, do you not know? Does anyone else not know about this? And then someone else goes, I don't know either. And then we all suddenly realize, we all are kind of like not on board with this as much as we thought, because it also can go in the other direction that way of like, do you like that? Like Popular was a perfect example of that being like, can everyone admit that we love this? And we were like, yeah. And we were like kind of embarrassed too, because everyone's like at first like, I think it's fun, But we made a decision not to make it all blow it out like very sportsy and not brand it so much, and just like have me talking in that kind of cadence was kind of the decision I made.
We need to learn that lesson, by the way. We should flag that, because this is the second time it happened on the roast and it happened on the Golden Globes where we were going to do this thing where we're like targeting somebody. And it was like just kind of like mean, and we cut it at the last second, and we didn't regret it. So next time we should just know, maybe not targeting someone and hitting them hard for no reason is not the way to go.
No, it's not. And it even though the person we were going to target, I love so much, and I knew that it was going to come from a place of love, of like it tonally could have been misconstrued, and I'm so glad we didn't do that. I'm so glad. And there was another moment too where we were going to like say kind of a roasty type joke at someone that I interacted with, and I cut that joke last second. And then let's not even talk about the Rock joke. Like I'm so excited we didn't do Rock too. Like not the Rock, but the joke that had the word rock in it.
Yes.
Yeah, there were so many like we made very good choices. My only regret is not saying Wicked Table, you're gonna love this before Popular. That's my only regret. And I wish we wouldn't have had the spotlight. I wish it would have just left it on the normal. Like I don't think we needed that to make it seem like it was like this moment, but I don't think it hurt it, but I don't think it needed it.
Yeah.
Those, and then I have a couple more. I mean, I could go on and on.
We're full of regrets. Everyone's full of regret.
All the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, that part of the show, people have been. I first saw it. Mike Lawrence was the first person to write on, I think, Tuesday when the fire started. Like, maybe you guys should have thanked God more. Mike Lawrence, one of our writers, was like, as we pointed out on the show, maybe if you would have thanked God more, this wouldn't be happening. He was obviously joking, and I don't think anyone saw that and then extrapolated from it. I think it was just, he was parallel thought with some crazy people. So then there's been all these evangelical people. We don't know if they're evangelical.
They might be Catholic. It's not.
No, Catholics love me. Catholics wrote about me in their newsletter. In the number one Catholic newsletter,
serious
magazine, they wrote about how Nikki Glaser called out godless Hollywood.
Yeah.
And like,
so what's
by the
going
way,
on?
by the way, that part where it was like, no surprise in this godless town, that was in the script and then got taken out. And I put it back in because you could hear me kind of like wait. And then I just pulled it out of my brain to say it, even though I didn't write it initially. It was just in an earlier script and got taken out of the prompter.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I said it because it just made me laugh. And I liked saying godless town. I like the cadence of it.
Great cadence.
And it ended up being a really famous person's favorite. You know that day that I was on the podcast and I got a text from a really famous person?
Yeah.
Yes, you never
that person,
said.
the most famous person I know, was like, I loved this one joke, and that was that person's favorite joke. And and if no one else liked that joke, it was like worth it to tell it because that person loved it.
Yeah.
And but anyway, people have been making these videos saying that like I am responsible for the fires, and they don't even understand that I was calling out people not thanking God. And by the way, I was doing it sarcastically, which they don't even catch. They're just taking it the wrong way, thinking that I'm saying, don't thank God. That's good to not thank God, even though my character
was like the most pro-God joke in the entire that's ever been uttered in Hollywood in the last 40 years, where we said, no one thanked God. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yes.
Is what we said.
And
that's what we were
people have
pointing
been
out.
blaming me, but I'm like, no, I was pointing out the right thing.
Well,
like
it's
the
just
thing
totally
that
fucked up that they're saying
They're
that
just
because
so
of that
dumb.
joke, now you're responsible. And some of the comments are so mean. They're like, every tear shed because of the fires is Nikki Glaser's fault. They're saying like, I hope you suffer. I hope your career. I hope you die.
I
Like,
haven't read any of this, but honestly, these don't hurt my feelings at all
No.
because they're from batshit crazy people.
and what's interesting is that I'd say out of every single comment I've read, except maybe one, because I'm like I'm engaged and I'm kind of engaging with them on the Instagram, on Nikki Glaser Pod Instagram, because
God, you are.
they made like we posted a clip of something that's not even this clip.
Stupid.
It's not even
Not
this
you,
clip.
like these people. What's wrong with them? Do they not understand comedy? What? Like, okay, tell me what you're doing.
It's not even this clip. We posted a clip about, what did we post, Noah, this week on the Nikki Glaser Pod Instagram?
It was about the making of Popular.
It was about the making of Popular. It wasn't even about the godless town. And yet there's all these people who are commenting on it, flocking from these areas. And what's interesting is, like, except for one person, I think 99% of the people are not from America. They're from South America, like Brazil, Ecuador, or they're from
Philippines.
Southeast Asia. So
Yes.
there must have been some influencer on TikTok that's from a foreign country who was ground zero for this conspiracy theory and who spread it and then sent all of their followers to go attack us.
Yes,
And-
I'm getting emails, and my email is not even out there. Like,
Yeah.
these people are just taking a wild stab in the dark what my email might be,
Yeah.
and finding ways to say it's all your fault.
Yeah.
And then Sarah Lena on the girls' chat today sent a link that said, "My mom is really excited because you are going viral in the Philippines," and she didn't realize she was sending me like a thing that was like, "This woman should burn in hell."
Right.
thing, because it's all in like Filipino. Is that the language?
Filipino. I think that's what their
Yeah, that's what they are, but I don't think
their
that's the language.
nationality.
I think it's like I'm sorry, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't, because I don't want to hear things about me. No, it's
Let me see. Here we go.
it makes me really happy. I
It
love
is
firing
Filipino.
up these. Okay, great.
You were correct.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, good. Thank God.
Yeah.
It's but I
thank God.
Uh-oh.
Are you sure about that?
There's
I'm
one.
thanking God. By the way, I do believe in a higher power. I don't
As do
call
I.
it God.
do I.
But I'm not a godless person, and I would never thank God in a speech, though, because I think that's insane. To think that they would have any say in me winning a Golden Globe, it just doesn't seem right.
I forgot
But-
who, there was a comedian or somebody who posted this who said, like, the audacity of people to pray. Yeah, you know what it is? I don't remember it exactly.
I think I told it on the podcast,
Yeah.
but it's Ricky Gervais telling when people pray to God for their keys, the arrogance that God would help you find your
Exactly.
keys when he didn't stop the Holocaust.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's perfect.
And
it
so,
just
by
says
the
it
way,
exactly what it is.
Where were these people when Ricky Gervais was hosting the Golden Globes, a man whose entire career is based on mocking God openly? How come
I love
God,
it. Bring it on.
How come God didn't light LA on fire when Ricky Gervais hosted the Golden Globes? And out of all of the godless things that happen in Los Angeles, all of the crimes and sins, you think it was a joke that was told in the Golden Globes that made him decide to set it on fire?
Right. And like if for all the people who are super
and why did it
religious
take 2
and
days?
stuff.
Sorry. Yeah.
Like what is God evil? Like why would God do that? That's not like the purpose of God. He doesn't like
God
set things on
punishes
fire.
people who aren't.
Well, that's some Old
is that
Testament
what it
shit.
is?
That's some Jew shit. And these people
no, in
should be
Judaism,
Jews
that's
because
not it.
that's
why
the Old
wasn't I struck
Testament.
down that night?
Well, yeah. I mean, George Carlin did that in one of his stand-up specials. He said, "If God exists, may he strike me down right now." And he said that on a stage. And God didn't do it.
It took 35 years.
It took him longer.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, I believe in God. I fear God. I don't think God cares like about these things. I don't think.
Right.
I think he's got bigger problems. If he's truly the creator of the universe, Earth isn't even probably on his top 10 of planets. So to have the narcissism to think that the one creator of the universe is like focused on a joke set at the Golden Globes and will destroy the lives of millions because of that joke is egotistical to the max.
I'm so happy that this doesn't bother me at all. If anything, it makes me very proud because my dad is such an atheist that he there would be no better like achievement for me than to piss off all these these zealots, these insane people. And so there's something in me that feels good about that. And there's no part of me that's like, honestly, I wouldn't care if I came across like people calling me a bad person because, I upset God because I just don't believe that's true. But then it only hurts me when people say something that I believe is true about myself. Like that's really the only time that I feel. But I will say there was a thing that, I'm trying. Okay, so I bought this book called "Let Them" by Mel Robbins that I saw Oprah say was like a book that changed her life, and I've gotten I think 2 of the Girls Chat girls on it, Laura and Sarah Lena. And yes, Laura, I just said your name the way it sounds like it's supposed to be pronounced, Lara, even though it's Laura. Hulla's reading it, and Sarah Lena, and it's just about when someone's mad at you, when person in front of you is driving too slow, when someone's being irrational, if your boss is blaming you for something, you just let them. And then when you say let them about something, it gives you a superiority.
Wow.
That is not what you should stay in, but it gets you out of that feeling of like, because you sometimes need a feeling of superiority just to get out of a feeling of shame, right? So it lifts you up suddenly to be like, let them, I don't care, I'm unbothered, I'm better than all of it. And then you do the next thing, which is let me. And that's where you go back down, you take that superiority and you get back down to right sized, where you go, what can I do? So, okay, so-and-so is mad at me, let them be mad. And then let me understand that, maybe I have something to do with the fact that they're mad. How can I be a better person? Let me focus on things that actually matter, like what you can do. So anyway, it's really helped me. It's helped. Sarah Lena said it's helped her. But I was talking to my therapist yesterday about how I am doing a lot better with people being like mad at me or not liking me and it not affecting me. And because there was a certain person that got really, really upset with me recently and really let me have it. And they were really actually very right to be mad at me. And I felt like my first instinct was like, oh shit, I really shouldn't have done that thing that made them mad. And like, why did I do that? And all the things that you go through when someone's mad at you and you actually feel shame about it. And I was headed to Hawaii when this is going down. And I'm getting these texts that are very angry from this person. And I could see in Chris's eyes him being like, oh no, our trip is ruined. Like Nikki can't handle someone being mad at her and she's not being able to fix this. This person is not accepting her apology. They're never going to. This person is like done with Nikki and is like truly telling her like, don't ever talk to me again. And I could see Chris kind of like panicking. And even I was like, oh fuck, this is about to ruin my trip. And then I just apologized and I just was like, and owned it and said, yeah, I regret doing that thing and I'll always be sorry for this and I can't take it back and it's taught me to be a better person. I won't make this mistake again in other ways. Said my piece and I was like, didn't think about it at all. And this is someone whose opinion I would have guessed matters very deeply to me what this person thinks about me. And I just didn't care because I couldn't control it. And thank God it was like right on the, it happened right as I downloaded the book, Let Them. So I had read like 10 pages of it and kind of got the gist of it. And I just was like, let them be mad at me. Let them. Like, I can't control it.
Did you care if they accepted your apology or not?
No, that was another thing. It was like, I knew in my heart that I was sorry, and it wasn't just a placeholder. I wasn't just placating them. I knew, and I also knew that I wouldn't have done that had I given it more thought, and I won't do it to someone again. It will change the way I behave in the future. So I came from this a better person, and there was nothing I could have done to prevent it. Like, I didn't think about this person's feelings when I did the thing, and there was no way that I should have. I should, obviously I should have, but there was no part of me that could have in that moment. I was not in a state of mind when I hurt this person's feelings to have protected their feelings. I forgave myself for it. And it doesn't matter if they forgive me. They get to be whatever they're going to be. I can't change it. And it was so freeing. I didn't think about it at all. I even thought I'm not even going to be able to interact with this person's work anymore, because this is someone whose work you could probably consume. Each of us could consume. And I thought, I really like this person's work. If I see it out in the world now, I'll probably have to like swipe away from it really quick and stop listening or stop watching, whatever it is. And I came across this person's work and I loved it and was able to sit through it and enjoy it. And that was huge for me because in the past, my whole Taylor Swift story, when I like said those things about her and ended up in her documentary, I couldn't like listen to Taylor Swift after that because I was like, I hurt Taylor Swift. And then I was able to, after I apologized publicly, even before she wrote on it, I was able to listen to her again. But like hurting someone, even if I just like can't, even if I loved them, it's like makes it hard for me to enjoy their product anymore.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a reverse Michael Jackson, where it's like, can we listen to Michael Jackson anymore because he did all those things? Then you kind of have to get over it. I'm having that now with Kanye, where it's like I really like Kanye's music, but he hates Jews.
I know. I'm able to separate the artist, I think, from almost everything all the time. But this time I was really happy about it. But I will say my friend she's a huge Harry Styles fan, and she ran into Harry Styles in the street after his concert. Wow. I think I maybe told this. I'm sorry if I did. And she asked for his picture, and he said no, very politely, because I know this too, just from being of minuscule town, famous, is that when one person does it, other people see, and then they start being like, "Who is that?" And and I can only imagine at Harry Styles level.
Oh my God.
I mean, it would be a line down the fucking block. So he was just like, no, because he hadn't been noticed yet. She was the first person to kind of be like, is that, And so he was very polite and said, no, I'm sorry. And she was so humiliated that he said no, that she literally can't listen to his music anymore. Because she's just like, gets embarrassed even hearing it, because she was so embarrassed, even though he wasn't mad at her. He was very polite, but just to be told no by someone.
No, that happened to me after the roast. At the after party of the roast, I went up to Gronk and I was going to ask him for a photo, and he like totally ignored me and boxed me out. And now I can't listen to his music anymore either.
What a shame.
Yeah.
It's but I will say that I had my therapy session yesterday, and I told my therapist about this moment, and she was like, and I was talking about my friends, and I was like, I've noticed my friends, and I don't know if I was ever this way, but I have a couple friends, including one of our close friends, and then some girls on the girls chat who, and I don't understand this, maybe help me understand this, both of you. If like the other day, I think I could share this. I'll check with her and maybe we'll take it out, but I think it'll be fine. Sarah Lena said that she she was walking into a coffee shop or something, and she didn't see this woman behind her who was like older and probably needed help with the door, and she didn't like push the door open more, and she saw it too late to help the woman with the door, and she was like, this woman thinks I'm a terrible person and is going to be mad at me. And she like was still struggling with this feeling hours later, after this stranger might have thought she was a bitch. For me, in that moment, I might be like, oh, this is awkward in the coffee shop, and she might think I'm a bitch, but I know that I'm not, and that it was an accident. And so even if she would be mad, I don't think ever a version of me before or after Let Them, the book, would have cared what this stranger thinks, because I know that I'm not a bitch and I just didn't see her. Would you guys carry that with you all day? Our other friend was at dinner and thought this guy was mad at him. Remember that thing I talked about? Remember Sean was like, that guy hates me because he stared at me?
I think that's what Sean thinks about everybody all the time.
Yeah, but what is that? Like, that makes me so sad for people to think that strangers might hate you. Noah, do you relate to this?
I don't relate to that, but I think it has more to do with our friends wanting to be good people rather than if people don't like them, you know? Like, does this mean that I'm a bad person?
But like, I guess it's an insecurity on like a level that I don't like. It's like it's almost like because that's what I was trying to say to Sarah Lena is like, if you are certain that you're a good person, no matter what other people think, it won't matter, and you're doubting that about yourself. And as soon as you're able to solidify that and know that, it won't matter what other people think.
You're right. And I think you're right.
She is a good person. She's one of the best people I know. She would never like leave anyone in the lurch or like she would like buy someone a door that would be easier for them to open. Like she's the most giving person ever, so for her to feel that way was it just like it makes me so mad because I just want to like I don't want her to have to suffer with that.
There are so many times that I feel like people think I'm weird or something, and so it happens so often to me that I think I'm immune to like how strangers feel about me because I'm just can't do that every single day, all day.
That's what my therapist said. She was like, Nikki, the reason you are better at this now is because you've had more experience with it than other people of strangers having opinions about you, and you've just gotten immune to it or because you gotten used to it. It's like exposure therapy, because it used to be a crippling thing to me if like people I cared about didn't like me, right? Like people I know, people I'm going to encounter. And now even that I don't care. And I never thought it would be something that I could get used to or like have experience with enough or get my 10,000 hours of being judged that you just let it go. But I really feel like it's such an accomplishment if you can get there. And this book, Let Them, really helped me if you're relating to this at all. Like the book Let Them by Mel Robbins is really, really helpful about people being mad at you. It's so freeing to just be like,
you can't control, not my circus, not my monkeys. You can't control what other people are thinking about you. You just have to go, you have to just be your best self. And if you're nice, you know you're nice. And if someone decides you're not nice, like if they're, in a Brazilian church and they decide you're evil, it's not on you.
A part that, I'll finish by saying this and we'll go to break, but the thing that really resonated with me that made me feel like, oh, I can't let this happen anymore, is that when someone's mad at you and you are obsessed about it and having anxiety about it, you have given your whole life to them. You are wasting your potential, your growth, your strength. Like you're wasting your life and you're just like giving it to someone else. Is that what the life you want to live is, giving it to other people? And you don't have an option when you're trying to control how other people feel about you. You're giving your life to them. It's like they are dictating your mood. If they're happy with you, then you get to be happy with yourself. If they're mad at you, you're mad at yourself. So is that the life you want to live? Is if some person, your boss or the girl who works in the cubicle next to you or the girl you went to high school with who said something shitty on your Instagram, like you're letting her decide how your day is going to be? What?
Yeah.
Like that kind of put it into focus for me of like, I'm not someone who's like, I choose my life and I live it how I'm gonna, but like, at least I'm not going to let people who truly don't matter in the scheme of things tell me how I'm going to feel about myself. Final thought.
You're at 2M on Instagram now.
Oh, I'm at 2 now, baby.
2M.
Yeah.
You're in the 2M club. Anything that you say can be construed and made into a headline that people will want to read because you've reached that next level of fame.
Well, Chris was saying to me, it makes sense why celebrities don't do interviews and they don't interact with people on social media and they like kind of isolate themselves because everything they say or do can be used against them.
There's a downside to it. Like if you don't do interviews for 20 years, then all of a sudden you come out like Robert De Niro during the election and start rambling about Joe Biden.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, that's not good. But you can do it. There is a good way to do it. And that is my boy, Timothée Chalamet, who does a million interviews. Yeah, he does shout outs. He's just deferential to everybody. There's no, he's not being honest. He was being honest, unless he is being honest, and that's just how he is.
I just can't be honest anymore.
Yeah, if he was being honest, he's not going to start shit talking anybody for any reason because he's acutely aware of the internet and how the internet responds to everything he says.
I thought you were saying he's a cutie.
He is a cutie.
He's a cutie wear.
He's a cutie. I like what he wears. and he's great at interviews. Shout out to Timothée Chalamet. Shout out
He's
Dune.
so good.
Shout out Complete Unknown. Shout out Hollywood.
But then is that who I am? Is just being someone who's positive all the time about everything? And then,
well, you're
I do
a little
like
bit
a lot of
different
things.
because you're a comedian and he's not.
How good was Bill Burr on Jimmy Kimmel, by the way?
Oh yeah, I watched that. That was great. I love whenever he just gives that dose of reality to a situation where it's like, what are we all doing here?
You think he might end up on the other side of things? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many comedians who go the other way, and he's still maintaining this level of truth.
He's from Boston, and Boston has just always been that way. It's like these are a bunch of tough working class guys, and yet they're aligned with the LA and New York City. It's like, what's going on here? I
love the last moment of that clip. It's on Kimmel right now, and I posted it on my story. But in the last moment of the clip, he was talking about screaming in his home or something, and his daughter's like, "Dad, it's just the toaster." And she goes, "Is this really about the toaster?" He's like, "It's not even. It has nothing to do with the toaster." He's like, and she goes, "What's it about?" or something, and he's like, "You don't even want to know." It was just this nice reference to this undercurrent of trauma or whatever that has led him to react that way. It's like, it just shows a lot of introspection on his part that I think people don't
he's been
really expect from him anymore. But he's
over the last 10 years, he's kind of developed that sensibility.
He did mushrooms
and had
an awakening. Yeah, dude. There's a crazy clip of him on Conan during COVID where he talks about a mushroom trip and how he's been angry all these years and he never knew what it's like. And he's not even being funny. Like, Conan's waiting for a punchline and he's just like, yeah, just an angry guy. And there's a lot going on, he's just talking about how he did mushrooms. He took too many. He had an epiphany that he's never dealt with. I'm kind of paraphrasing I'm not remembering it right at all, but he's just saying there's a lot that happened to him that he didn't process, and it's just turned into this anger. And he's calling himself out, and it's he even calls himself out in the Kim. I love someone that is can seem so righteous and then all of a sudden goes I was full of shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. How great is that in someone? That is a wonderful quality for someone to be so positive, so certain that they're right, and then to be able to just completely undermine it all by being I didn't realize how much helicopters were. I was an idiot. We famously know that he got his helicopter license because he wanted to escape LA if shit ever went down. And then Kimmel goes, did you do it? Were you thinking about? He goes, I didn't know they were so fucking expensive. He's like, I didn't think about that. And it was just so nice to hear him throw himself.
And he didn't want to have to make a Sophie's choice with one of his kids about who to put in the helicopter.
He's great. I'm so grateful we have his voice. I was just watching that being fuck yeah, he got it. From what I can tell, he seems to get it right. And it was just, it's so nice to have him out there talking. I'm grateful for his voice. It feels like kind of a Carlin-esque bullshit detector that we need out there.
Yeah, we need more of that.
In the midst of everyone trying to do comedy and be cool. And I'll include myself. It's hard to just keep it real.
It's tough because I'm curious to see what the next generation of comics comes up with, because we need the counterculture to return. And right now, the most, all the comedians are kind of aligned with the people in charge, and so it's like we're not really getting the bullshit detector version of comedy right now.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I saw a lot of it in that interview, and I was heartened, to say the least. I was so excited to see that clip because it's and he was on a talk show being funny about the fires already.
Yeah. There you go.
And he had to evacuate. It was really nice to see. I turned down a talk show interview that was supposed to be tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday, to you guys, because I thought it was too soon to be funny, and also I'm just tired.
Yeah, you deserve a break.
Going on TV again. I didn't feel like going to a fitting and picking out an outfit.
This is also the perfect time to take a step back and just let it all, just let it all sink in, let it all marinate, and let people
whisper to me in Pilates classes.
Yeah, exactly. And let people miss the pre-fire time when we were all innocent and happy and Nikki Glaser was crushing it at the Golden Globes.
Yes, the last thing that happened in Hollywood.
Yeah. I
I'm
haven't
supposed to go to
received.
the Critics' Choice Awards and they get postponed again. We don't even know if they're going to happen.
Wow. Yeah.
Grammys is happening though, and they're donating. I didn't know that the Grammys made money, but I guess they're donating the proceeds of the Grammys, which I didn't know was a thing, to the fires.
Taylor Swift donated $10 million.
She did?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Beyonce did 2.5.
So, yeah, I mean, it's great. There's a lot of people donating, and you should continue to donate. And Allie and I donated to the Pasadena Humane Society.
I did too yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
That's good to do. I saw Taylor.
Yeah, we want to donate to the animals.
I know, I do too. I didn't want to say that yesterday,
animals,
but I do too, and I feel bad. But you know what? You can't pick and choose what pulls at your heartstrings. It all does. But for me, I'm into animals, and and I've explained it before, because animals don't know what's going on, and that is what. There's something about humans. I know that the human struggle is awful, and there's maybe more suffering because they know what's going on. But for some reason, animals being like, I'm scared and I don't know why, is so much more heartbreaking to me. And just that makes me get out my wallet faster. And I'm sorry if that offends anyone, because I think sometimes people go like, oh, you can't shut up about veganism, but you haven't even mentioned this atrocity. And it's like, I can't help what gets me going.
Yeah.
This is just, let them be mad at me, Nikki. Let them be mad.
Let them be mad.
And then let me put my money towards things that I care about. So yeah, check out that book. Did we miss any other things? I'm going on tour. It's
like all
tickets
sold
are
out.
going crazy. I know. It's crazy. I have like 4 shows in Denver, 4 shows in New York, 4 shows in Boston. Yeah, everything's selling like crazy. If you want to get tickets, I would get them very, very soon. I think some shows just went on pre-sale and they're already sold out since yesterday. It's nuts. I'm gonna bring the heat for you guys. Not too much.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna bring you a wet heat.
Yeah, you're not gonna set the world on fire. You're gonna
No. But yeah, the tour dates coming up are Minnesota at the end of the month, and then Atlantic City.
But hey,
There's
put
still
it to the
tickets to
test,
Atlantic.
you know?
Oh, good. Still tickets in Atlantic City.
Go to a different city, call it a godless town, and see if it works.
And see what
again.
happens there.
Yeah.
If it burns down.
All right.
Let's test it. Let's
I
see
will
if they're
light
right.
this country on fire.
Yeah.
Figuratively and literally. All right. I'll try that. We'll see you out there, and we'll see you next week on the podcast. Thank you for listening this week. Bye, Brian. Bye, Noah. Don't be bye.